Witches, shotguns, magic shrooms, skeletal firing squads, and bullshit deaths. Witchfire has it all. Witchfire is a new roguelite FPS released on the Epic Games Store in Early Access, made by the game studio The Astronauts. They are the people behind the vanishing of Ethan Carter, and by the gods, they sure know how to create some stunning looking games. I played it extensively and I am absolutely in love with this game. Witchfire is one of the best roguelites I've played in recent years. Heck, maybe ever. And potential to get even better, potential for growth, potential to become like a true masterpiece is all there. Like the core gameplay loop in this is fantastic. So let's dive into it a little bit. Witchfire is set during the Dark Ages, although in these Dark Ages there are actual witches. You are a bounty hunter tasked with hunting down a witch. And the witch is not gonna make this easy for you. Like I said, this is a roguelite, so every run is basically a start over with a little bit of meta progression in the mix. You have your sanctum, which works as your safe haven. You start off here and you will come back here between missions. The sanctum is where you level up, you buy new stuff, you research new power-ups, and you equip yourself for the next run. Like I said, Witchfire is a roguelite game, which means that it doesn't work with a traditional campaign or story. Rather, it's run-based. You pick a map, you load in, you do your run, you either succeed, you die, or you choose to call it quits and save what you've earned, and you go back and you spend these resources in the sanctum to become even stronger next time. And let me tell you, this game is addicting. It's one of those games you turn it on and then you just forget to sleep, you forget to go to work, you forget to drive your parents to the hospital, you forget you have a son. What son? You forget to feed your pets. So you just be warned. This is a very addictive game. Well, I've lost countless of hours to it. And I plan to lose countless hours more, because it's just that good. The gameplay loop sees you starting off in the Shrouded Hermitorium, where you either craft potion, level up, research new gear, and customize the gear that you have. When you start off with the game, you're only gonna have one handgun. It's gonna be your trusted companion for a few levels. You pick between 1 and 2 maps. Although currently in the Early Access branch, you have the Scarlet Coast, which is the first map. Once you manage to beat that map, you unlock the Iron Gate Castle. A beautiful, beautiful castle. And beating a map requires you to defeat the witch's appointed familiar in said map. This is something that's probably gonna take you a lot of runs. I have no idea how many times I tried and failed in the Scarlet Coast until I finally managed to beat the familiar, but by the gods, the deaths were countless. And I truly had to get good. So, you pick a map, you spawn in on a random location on that map, and your first order of business should be to check your map. On it, you can see what kind of things you have to deal with. There are gonna be dangerous areas highlighted. Your first knee-jerk reaction to this might be to stay away from those, but no, they come at a risk, but they also come with great rewards. The dangerous areas are what powers you up in these games. It's what's gonna give you your power-ups. It's what's gonna give you the resources to level up and all of that good stuff. It's also gonna be the areas that kills you. Combat in this game is hard. Like, it's really hard. It's hard, but it's fair for the most of the times, I would say. When you start off, you will have your standard archers, and you will have your standard husks or sword fighters. The archers gives you a little bit of a sound cue of an arrow string being pulled whenever they're shooting an arrow at you. If you're not looking at the enemy, you will get a little visual indicator that you're actually like being shot at, and that you should take the necessary precautions. You can dash, you can slide, you can run, you can dodge, all of this, and you can jump. All of this requires stamina. Stamina is a very valuable resource. As you go through the map and defeat these dangerous areas, when you kill the last enemy of a dangerous area, that enemy will drop a crystal you can interact with. It will present you with 2 power-ups, and you must choose between one or the other. And then you head on to the next dangerous area. At any point in time during the game, you can choose to call it quits by heading to a yellow or green portal on the map and interacting with it, and then heading back home. You start off very weak in this game. So a good path is not be too greedy. Gather up some resources, then head your ass back home and upgrade yourself so you have a better fighting chance the next time. Although this game has a little bit of a neat mechanic where the game actually levels together with you, or the witch rather levels together with you. For every level you gain, the witch also gains a level. And next time you load in a little bit stronger, the witch is also going to be stronger. There's going to be new enemies, there's going to be new challenges, there's going to be new hazards, new traps, more enemies, more variety of enemies, and this keeps the game very interesting. The game prohibits you from becoming too overpowered. The witch won't allow it. No matter which level you are, you will always have a challenge. And it's up to you if you can prevail against the witch never-ending horde. So the most standard items you will see on the map, or markers you will see on the map, are the dangerous areas ones. Like I said, they're good to clear out to get your rewards, so you can power up. There's also going to be ammo chests, and ammo is very scarce in these games. Pay close attention to where you have your ammo chests and go to them when needed, but don't go to them with almost fully stocked weapons, because then you will find yourself out of ammo chests with a lot of enemies still ahead. There are different varieties of the dangerous areas. You have highly dangerous areas, and extremely dangerous areas. And, well, you guessed it. The more dangerous, the more enemies, the harder enemies. And a lot of the learning curve in this game is like learning the different type of enemies. Every enemy attacks in their own way. You have the archers. They pull a bowstring and they send a quite fast arrow towards you in an arch. You have the musketeer. They load their muskets and then they shoot a very fast shot at you. They are dangerous. You have the grenadier, which carries around a big mortar that can arch even further. Like they arch an explosive over hills and terrains. Like you don't even, sometimes you don't even see the grenadier, but you can hear the thud of the grenade shells coming out, and you know that you're gonna have to dodge or you're gonna find yourself back in the hermatorium. You have the husks, which are not particularly hard. Just your standard melee fighters. Then you have the sword fighter. This is probably the enemy that's killed me the absolute most. The sword fighters are absolute peak bullshit, and I hate them. They have this dashing attack, or they charge up, I jump towards you. And like if you don't dodge between them leaving the ground and then landing on you again, you're gonna take such a massive chunk of damage. Like it's ridiculous. fighting several of these bastards, like together in a group. You have 5 of them. Like you have to listen for the sound cues of them, like actually doing their attack and then being ready to dodge, like having the stamina to dodge. I found that having a shotgun ready with me, and then like dodge in the very last second and just blast their heads off like point blank has been my approach to them. They're absolutely horrendous, but they aren't the hardest enemy by like a mile. There's so many tough enemies in this game. Enemies carrying shields, enemies wielding frost, wielding magic. And then you have the Warden of the Dead. It's an enemy that walks around with a lantern. Now this enemy is tough. Or rather, he can be so goddamn tough. Or he can be a complete cakewalk. It's all depending on, do you see him before he sees you? A lot of the times I've been fighting a group of enemies to have a Warden of the Dead sneak up behind me. If he is in close enough range that he can like shine his lantern on you, he will create a calamity and spawn in monsters to come and get you. So the witch at certain points in the game spawns in a calamity. Usually if you're at a disadvantage. For example, if you try to reload when you don't have bullets, you can get a little text prompt down in the left corner saying, "Oh, the witch has noted or like heard the empty clink of your ammo bag," or like something like that, and she seizes this opportunity and she creates a calamity. That will create a vortex of like chaos and doom somewhere on the map with skeleton skulls circling around it. You have 2 choices. Either you go to this vortex and you kill the skeletons and the calamity is over with. Thing is, this calamity can be on the other side of the map compared to where you are, and can create for some very sticky situations, because you need to traverse the entire map and you might not like just have a free way there. There might be enemy camps and whatnot. Another thing you can do is you can ignore the calamity for now, and once a little meter around the minimap fills up, enemies will come spawning. Different types of enemies. Usually they come like frost wielding thralls come, and you're tasked to kill 16 of them to end the calamity. Like, this is no easy feat. This is also usually, if it gets to this point, I'm dead. Like, you're dead. It's hard. They're tough to kill. The ice slows you down. The ice is homing. You're gonna have a bad time, basically. No matter how you choose to defeat the calamity or die to it, you will be presented with a choice. If you defeat the skulls circling the vortex, you can create a portal home where the calamity was once located. This is a way for you to take what you earned and put it back into the safety of your Heratorium. And you can use that to level up. Or you can continue fighting and push on. On the map you can also find cursed chests. These start spawning after you're a certain level. These are chests that requires a little bit of a challenge for them to open, and if you fail said challenge, then you get you don't get any rewards at all. You're not allowed into the chest, and you have to bear the harsh mark of failure and shame. Shame on you. And these challenges can be ranging from a wide array of challenges. One is that you have to survive a certain amount of time. One is that you have to kill the enemies fast enough. One is that you have to I'm drawing a blank. What other ones are there? And so on. Along the maps, when you level up, there will also be spawning protective devices. These areas will be protected by effigies made by the witch. They can give the monsters invincibility. They can shoot projectiles and whatnot at you, and it's your job to find these effigies and destroy them if you hope to be able to defeat the enemies close by to it. You'll also encounter gatekeepers. Big effigies that prohibits you to use a certain path or passageway, and you must find the small effigy where they draw power from and destroy it in order to pass. All with the main goal of getting to the witch's familiar and defeating it. And once you defeated it on the Scarlet Coast, you will be granted access to the castle. And to tailor the game to your playstyle, you have a wide range of weapons. You have shotguns, you have bolt-action rifles, you have sniper rifle. You get a demon crossbow, you get relics, fetishes, rings, and spells. So the witch is not only one armed with spells, so are you. And the spells have different elemental attributes. Lightning will make enemies shocked, and when lightning meets other elements, when lightning meets fire, when not, you will have different unique interactions between the elements that all have their unique effects. And when leveling up, you can also find level ups that correspond to these elements. You can, for example, I myself like to run lightning. You can find power-ups that makes it so that your lightning arcs more, or your lightning does more damage. They throw out an additional lightning whenever you do any type of lightning, and so on. And same can be with fire. You can find an upgrade that makes it so when you kill an enemy, a burning enemy, that enemy dissipates in a burning inferno and engulfs his friends. So you basically make the enemies into bombs. All this to tailor the game into your playstyle. Are you a brawler type of bounty hunter? Do you like to be hot in the mix, shotgunning people in the face? Or are you more the sneaky, snipey type, sitting on top of perches and shooting down your unknowing victims? I myself enjoy a little bit of both. I usually run the Echo shotgun, which has an upgrade to it that makes it so when you slide and shoot, your weapon does more damage. And I also like the Hailstorm sniper. There's a lot of enemies, especially the warden, that you don't want to get close to. And if you're low on health, the sniper might be your one salvation. Taking them down from afar, one by one. But be careful. Some things like to sneak up on you. Like the infamous assassins, for example. Magic also adds a really fun twist to the game. I myself like the lightning because it helps me deal with a lot of enemies at once. And it can keep them preoccupied. I can drop down an electrified crucifix on the battlefield that continuously shock and pulls in anything close by. But you can also have a cursed bell, for example. It will spawn a cursed bell when stunning any enemy close by to it. Then it will hang there in the air and you can shoot it from time to time to continuously re-stun everything in this area. It's a really fun spell, but it requires some multitasking and requires some spare ammo. And there's a wide of other arrays. You have rotten spells, you have curse spells, you have ice spells, you have lightning spells. You have kinetic spells in terms of shockwaves, knocking enemies away. You have relics that really tailor the experience to or the play style to what you as a player prefer. You have one of the relics is a painted tooth, a tooth found among the witch's stashes. Critical shots on full health enemies ignite them. It's up to you to make the best out of your relics and play according to them, and lean on them for strength and help. Your main way to level up in this game, to get stronger in this game, is leveling up at the Ascension Shrine. Here you can pick Vitality, which gives you more HP. You can pick Healing, which makes your healing elixirs more efficient. They will heal you more, and they will heal you it takes a shorter time to actually get the full heal of them. You can put points into Endurance, which increases your max stamina, your stamina regeneration, and the length of your dash. You can put points into Witchery, which increases the rate at which your spells recharge. You can put into Metanoia, which increases how much Witchfire you actually get. And Witchfire is your main currency of this game. You can put points into Luck that will affect how lucky you are on your runs. Like how rare equipment you find, what you find in chests and whatnot. In between missions, you can also interact with the workshop mirror. Here you can research a wide array of things. You can research close range weapons, medium range weapons, long range, demonic weapons, light spells, heavy spells, magical items, arcanas, which is your powers you get when you level up, and also some scrolls to upgrade your weapon when that time comes. These weapons work, or this research work on kind of a time and success scale. The longer you're out and the more successful you are on a mission, the longer time for the research will have passed once you get back to the Sanctum. If you load into a map and you die almost immediately, you come back and nothing will have progressed. Although be out there for half an hour, or pick your time, and successfully return with some bounty, or return home in a coffin, and you will find that your research project have gotten quite far away. And then you can claim them, and who knows, maybe you just unlocked your new favorite weapon. While out in the wilds, you can find shrooms. The shrooms either heal you or damage you. But you can also find herbs. You can find Angelica is the herb name. You can find Angelica, which is a herb used to create your healing elixirs. And these ones are gonna be your best friend. And you want to really make sure that you find them, so you always start out with a few healing potions, because by the gods you will need them. And with these Angelicas, you can take them to the apothecary and create healing potions of them. So, what are my personal opinions of the game? The game is absolutely phenomenal. It's amazing. The gameplay is so good. The gunplay, excellent. The sounds of your shotguns going off, the sound of your sniper, even punching things feels good in this game. But it requires a certain state of mind. You will boot up this game for the first times and you will die. You will die. Until you start to learn the enemies, until you start to understand that stationary is not an option. You have to be quick on your feet. You have to be ready to dodge at any given second and moment. There's so much happening on the screen. But the game is usually not unfair to you. It will tell you when things are coming. It's up to you to actually see it, register it, and act accordingly. And to conserve your ammo, your stamina, your everything. You not take fights you can't win. Not go about the fights stupidly. But you will learn all of this the hard way. The game doesn't tell you anything for free. You will have to fly around and fudge out and find out what the hell you're supposed to be doing in the situations. The game doesn't hold your hand in the slightest. But mastering these almost impossible challenges is it's what makes this game so addicting. Like you start up this game, you play for the first hour, you feel like you have no idea like what you're doing, you just continuously die. But then it starts clicking, then you start like clearing one camp without taking much damage. You go on to the second one, same there. Oh, now you have actually 2 good upgrades. You come across a pack of enemies that are of the type that has killed you a lot of times. You take them out effortlessly, and you start to like understand their attack pattern, understand how you're supposed to go against them. All of a sudden, they go from being your arch nemesis to being nothing but gun fodder and power-up material. I like the feeling of mastering this ruthless, hard game is second to none. It's a joy. So this is out in early access right now, where as of now you have 2 maps. The game is a little bit content short, given the price tag of $30 roughly. But you have an endless amount of replayability. I played this game for about 30 hours in times of writing, and I've had such a blast with it. And like it just, the game, it's its own reward. Even though you defeat the first 2 bosses, like the one boss on the Scarlet Coast and then the one boss in the castle, like you still want to go back for more because it feels so good. Like it feels so good. The power-ups are like so good and so nice. And during my time with it, I've come across very few bugs. There are some bugs there, but it does seem that developers are very keen on ironing them out and fixing them. Overall, it's a very polished game. It's a very pleasant experience overall. I think this is gonna make for an instant classic, especially once it's out of early access. It's a great game. It's a fun game. Do yourself a favor and pick this up. Like if you like roguelite games in style of Gunfire Reborn. Actually, I'm drawing a blank on other roguelike FPSs. But I'm a big roguelike/roguelite fan. I've played almost all of them, and like I'll tell you right now, this is gold. Like this is something magical. It's dripping with atmosphere. It's dripping with just like this world you can almost like reach out and touch because it feels so alive. It's a world that immediately piques your interest. You want to know more about it. You want to know more about the inhabitants. You want to see the witch. And as of the early access, you cannot access the witch. There are some unknown areas. In total, you can see that there's gonna be 6 maps, maybe more maps added, I would imagine. We have Scarlet Coast, we have Iron Gate Castle, and then we have Witch Mountain, which is probably gonna be the last zone where you're gonna be fighting the witch. And I'm with this game all the way. I can't wait to see what the developers push out. I can't wait to follow like every new update, what they will add, and so on. Some games I would be hesitant to like recommend when they're in early access, but this one, no. It's an absolute gem, and if you want to be in a little bit early, like on the ground floor, pick it up now. Currently available on the Epic Game Store. I actually have no idea if it's coming to Steam and consoles. I should probably check that up, shouldn't I? But yeah, this is my first time doing something like this. Like I don't know if I'll call it a review. Maybe it's a review, or maybe it's a sales pitch, and the astronauts are paying me a little bit under the desk to make this. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, please give me some feedback, or if you hated it, please also give me that feedback, and maybe I see you out in the witching woods of Witchfire. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.